Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, July 13th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Real quick, a couple of clarification points. First off, this price you see over here will still be moving around. The candlestick you will be moving around. That's because the market is still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then also I'll be using the 30-minute time frame. So for your beginners out there, what that means is each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, GOEV, which started off very nicely on the day, but has really pulled back quite a bit, which presents a very interesting, setup here because now let me take a step back. Is this a good or bad looking chart? Well, it depends on your strategy going in. If you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 20 minutes, well then yes, from that perspective, the chart is a disaster. But if you do care about the bigger things, even with the pullback here, the price does still have a chance to ultimately build a higher base and therefore have higher lows over time, which is how big picture uptrends are built. But as far as a trading, setup is concerned, what I think a lot of people will be watching is that trend line right there. And while nothing is guaranteed, is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if the price can, stop going down, consolidate out, come into that trend line and get a break up through it, that break in of itself could create quite a bit of upside buying pressure? Absolutely. Even if you want to just call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, that's a rational thought process to have. Again, not a guaranteed thought process. There are no guarantees, but is it, rational? Is it some sort of random idea to think that a trend line break could create a nice little, pop back to the upside? I think that's more than rational. So if you like to play this price range and try to play those, those turnaround breakouts, then certainly keep an eye on this one. Next one, AMC. Talked about this in yesterday's video and how the price was breaking out through that trend line. So the question was that the start of something bigger? And we got our answer. Yes, that was indeed a start of something bigger as the price made a fantastic move up to that area. And yeah, it's pulling back a little bit right now, but overall, just a huge breakout and the uptrend continues. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that line as it served its purpose for now. And really just same general idea. You have this new problem point, this resistance trend line, whatever you want to call it. So keep a close eye on that, and that'll be the next key breakout point where if the price can break through it, then it transitions into a question of, all right, is this the next leg up? Can it put in those higher highs and higher lows? But as far as the lows are concerned, it's absolutely been putting in those higher lows. You look there and, over time, these lows just keep getting higher and higher, which, as I said in the previous stock, that's what it's all about. Building big picture uptrends. You want to see those higher lows, or if you want to picture those as stair steps, as long as stair steps are progressing the upwards direction, that is what you want to see. So overall, the trend continues, and now the new key breakout point right up there around that $16 mark. So let's see how the week continues to play out for AMC. Next, ENDP, a very, very bad afternoon. I realize I state the obvious when I say that with that 30-minute session right there. Just a huge drop. And all this was occurring on bigger volume. But now we have an interesting situation because it's put the price back at a level that's had a pretty big track record with it. And that's this area down here at 36 cents. If you go back through the history, you can see 36 provided support, and had some nice bounces right there. And I know I've said it, but let me say it again. If the price goes down to 36, am I saying that for sure guaranteed another bounce is coming? Absolutely not. But given the track record, given it has bounced from that area before, does it become at least a valid, a logical thought process that it could bounce again? That is certainly a more than valid and logical thought process. Doesn't mean it'll happen, but nobody could accuse you of just throwing darts and being random in your trade plans. There would be, a good structure behind your reasoning for doing things. So 36 cents within striking distance, and if it does come down there and breaks below it, well, then at that point, from just an overall chart story, that would not be good for the bulls. That would be a signal that, the price has now dropped down below areas that it hadn't seen for, weeks upon weeks. If there are any sort of bounces back to the upside, first key resistance that'll need to be broken up through is going to be that pink line there, the 200 paired moving average. Right now valued at 47 cents. But yeah, no doubt about it. Brutal day today. So we'll see if that 36 cent mark comes into play and if it can indeed produce a bounce. Next, PLTR, and a very rough day today, especially when you factor in that opening 30 minutes where the price came all the way up here. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. Look right where the price got rejected, right at that purple line there, the very famous, and this is why it's famous, 50 period moving average. And then down it went from there. Now, to give some credit's due, at least Throughout the course of the latter part of the day, the price did start to put in some higher bases, so there is a little bit of a miniature uptrend trend line right there. So I'll change that to green to represent more so a bullish attribute. So, preferably speaking, moving forward, you're definitely want to see the price stay above that green line, because as long as the price stays above it, that does imply that this current bounce is putting in those higher bases, and that's what you want. If a bounce is going to eventually turn into a reversal, then it's got to continue to build those higher lows, and that's what that green line there is helping to visualize. And then as far as areas of resistance are concerned, kind of already talked about it, but everybody is going to be watching that level there, that purple line, and rightfully so. Not only did it reject the price this morning, but you look back to Monday morning, and the price sure didn't hit it exactly, but it certainly got rejected at that area. So if there is any sort of attempted, continued bounce, then that purple line certainly does remain that main area that you're going to want to watch. But overall, yeah, rough day today, but we'll see how things continue to play out. Next one, KSPN. What a crazy day on this one. Started off, price came up that opening 30 minutes, broke that trend line that I drew in yesterday's video, and then had a fantastic explosion. Very, very nice breakout. So for you day traders out there that took that breakout, congratulations, you had a big breakout. But the problem here is that for those people that care about more so the bigger picture of things, after having broken out and going all the way up there, things just collapsed. And not only did they go back to the trend line, they dropped. Not only did they drop back to the green support line, they continue to drop down through there. So a brutal day to day from that angle of things, where if you care about the bigger picture. Now, is there still some hope left? There is still some hope, because to give credit where credit's due, brutal day to day, sure, but the price is still above not only the 50 paired moving average, but the 200 paired moving average. So that's good to see. And then also from a volume analysis standpoint, volume has really dropped off. So it is a bit of a pullback here on much less volume. So, like I said, those are, if you want to try to look at the glass as half full, but you also have to be, realistic and acknowledge that that was a very, very nasty turnaround today. And is that the leading indicator of the beginning of the end? That all remains to be seen. But what is another kind of bit of confirmation is that if you are a trader and you like volatility, this is now the second day in a row with some big swings. So just from that angle alone, if you like to play those sorts of stocks, put this one on your watch list. Really quickly wanted to pause and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online trading that I'm offering here in a little bit. So if you are enjoying what you've seen, you want to learn more about this tool, how it should be used to build consistency as a trader, then certainly get signed up for this free training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, then certainly get signed up for this free live training. Next one here, TSLA Tesla. And like a lot of these stocks had a nice initial surge this morning, and then just that opening 30 minutes completely collapsed downwards. So that red line here is still, definitely a very important level, 716. There was a little bit of a miniature breakup through it before it ultimately collapsed. So keep an eye on that as the overarching level of resistance. In the very near term, you're going to want to watch that pink line there, 200 paired moving average. You can see right here all afternoon, basically, the price tried to get of that pink line and just could not quite get above it. So you're going to want to watch that. So again, near term area of resistance, 200 paired moving average, overarching level right up there around that 716 mark. As far as areas of support are concerned, two dynamics stand out to me. First one is this trend line here that's formed. So what was that? I think, was that PLTR, I think, that had a little bit of a miniature trend line right there. But if that trend line is broken, then I think the level that a lot of people will be watching mostly is going to be those lows down here, right around that 680-ish mark, which you can see didn't quite hit it right there on those lows, but quite a bit of history down around that area. So if you're someone that likes to trade Tesla like I do, then these will be the levels that I'll be personally watching on Wednesday. Next one here, RHE, and this is one for those people that like to play a pullback. And it is nice to play pullbacks here, because when you stop and think about what a lot of traders suffer with, myself included, is the temptation of, to chase the price, to buy way too high, right? FOMO, fear of missing out. And in this situation, you don't have to worry about that. You would not be having FOMO. The people that had FOMO, the people that were chasing the price, buying the tops, well, they were buying right here. Now, that doesn't mean that it'll still be a winning trade for you. My point is that you can at least eliminate the worry of, am I chasing the price? Am I suffering from FOMO? So you're going to want to keep an eye on that as the price pulls back here. And if you do like to play those pullbacks, and like I said, an interesting level in my mind, right down here around that $3.50 mark. Let me just reiterate, as I've said, there are no guarantees, so it's not like the price is guaranteed to bounce off that level, but it has bounced off it before. There is still upwards momentum here, given that the price is just, right now you could charge it with just being a pullback. Now, of course, if the price goes to 350 and crashes down through it, at that point, reversal, and that's why risk management matters. But if you do like to play these sorts of pullback situations where you don't have to worry about suffering from FOMO or anything like that, then I definitely keep an eye on this one. Next one, AMD, and in my mind, AMD is a very straightforward chart right now, and it has everything to do with this very well-defined, There we go. Very well. I suppose that first trend line I drew, you could totally use that if you wanted to. But the whole idea here is that AMD does have a very clear downwards trend to it. So you're going to want to keep an eye on that. If you want, I suppose an easier way to even make it more clear is just to use that purple line there, 50-period moving average, as your trend line. Because moving averages are basically trend lines for lazy people. If you don't feel like drawing a trend line, well, then the moving average will draw itself for you. So you could totally use that as a trend line if you want to. Also, if you want to try to keep that as simple as possible. As far as levels of support are concerned, still have $73 down here, which is what I've talked about in past videos. But the more relevant one moving forward that I think a lot of people will be curious in watching is right here at that $75 mark, myself included. So right now, yeah, you can definitely see that there is a downwards triangle here that is forming, downwards wedge, whatever you want to call it, the descending triangle here. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, overall, AMD definitely seems to be slowly getting taken back over by the bears. Next one here, NIO, and this will mean a bit more to those of you that have watched the past video, specifically the one from Monday, but talked about that red line right there as resistance. I mean, not to pat myself on the back, but certainly pat charts on the back, and they're a great tool to use. So again, as a plug for that training, get signed up for it. But you can see that I put that red line into play yesterday, and then, I mean, like I said, you just can't make this stuff up. Look right where the price got rejected, right at that red line. So more of the story here, $21.20 is certainly going to be a very key level to continue to watch moving forward. If the price can't break $21.20, then you want to keep a close eye on that purple line there, the 50-period moving average valued at $21.60. In terms of levels of support, still have that level down here at $20.35, which was temporarily broken. So to give some credit where credit's due, after breaking down through it, after looking very shaky, the price did recover and get back up above that area. So that's a nice little kind of positive in and of itself. But that doesn't take away from the fact that 2035 would still be considered an area of support. Next one, AAL, and a monster move here. And what I like about it is a nice solid pattern. And this is the pattern that I'm not trying to impress you with. I'm not trying to imply this is a great skill or a great discovery. I assure you a lot of people are going to be watching this pattern. And I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same patterns, wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very nice movement. So the pattern here that I think a whole lot of people are going to be watching is that trend line right there. And then along the trend line, you have a nice area of support down around that 1450 mark. So let me actually change this to green to represent more so a bullish part of the pattern. And then maybe to make this all easiest to see, we have resistance, we have support, we have the big momentum move right here. And let's make this a little more visual. Put the golf ball down here for you golfers. And we have what is known as a bull pennant pattern. So as I've said, and we'll say for the final time, no guarantees, but is it plausible? Is it valid to think that if the price comes up to the top part of that pattern and breaks out through it, that break in and of itself could create a good size amount of buying pressure? That's absolutely a valid thought process to have. So if you like to play bull pennant patterns, then I definitely say to get AAL on your watch list. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, like I said earlier in the presentation, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency as a trader, then definitely get signed up for the free training. Like I said, it'll be pretty soon, Thursday, July 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you would like for me to continue to put in the time and effort required to get this content out to you, please help me out with basic things. Hit the like button and leave a simple comment. Say hi. Tell me what you traded today. But those two things go such a long way in communicating to me that you are enjoying. As long as I know that you as a viewer are enjoying, like I said, I'll continue to put in the time and effort to get this content out to you. So again, get signed up for that free training. Hit that like button, leave a simple comment down below. Everybody, thanks, take care, and have a good one.